Hello, I'm Dave Fraser with the Regina Leader-Post, joined here with my colleague, political columnist Murray Mandryk. We've seen another busy week happening here in Saskatchewan politics as we stand in the bowels of the Legislative Building here, right outside of the Members' Caucus Lounge here. Murray, what did we see with the PST changes this week?
Well, it was a big, important promise to Scott Moe and certainly those affected by it. Those affected by it are largely the agriculture community, because that's where the bulk of the lobbying to remove the PST on insurance was seeming to come from. However, it's more broad-based than that, because it's also on, besides being affecting agriculture insurance, it's also basically affecting health and life insurance. So it's a little more evenly balanced and broad-based. The one thing, the other shoe that hasn't dropped with this particular move right now is how do you make up for the costs? Like, you're not only in a bad position of having to retroactively refund money through a policy that's been in effect for almost a year now, but you're also having to think ahead to the next budget and how do we make up for what was a $200 million revenue claim into the next budget. And we know how tight these next budgets are. So I guess we're seeing for the first time where the rubber really hits the road in terms of Scott Moe's specific promises that he made in his leadership run to become premier, and I guess there's a few others that we'll have to take a look at.
Yeah, and as you say, it's a campaign promise and a costly one that he's fulfilling here. Notably yesterday, what we didn't see from either the premier or finance minister Donna Harpower was any commitment on how they're going to pay for this. Of course, during the campaign,
yeah, they talked about jobs.
They talked about jobs. A workthorce reduction, I think, was 5% in Crowns and Executive Council. They didn't mention that yesterday. No. We'll maybe learn a little bit more Friday when we see the third quarter financial update, which we're getting because of a late budget, which is exciting. But the day after that, on Saturday, we're going to have the NDP leadership, finally. It's been a long time coming. What are we expecting out of that?
Well, it's a two-person race. The one thing I am expecting is one ballot and one ballot determined.
A lot faster than the Sask Party race.
I think you and I differ on this. I think that Wotherspoon, representing the status quo of the party,
the old guys
against young guys, has a better shot, but I think you probably see it a little bit differently from what you
Yeah, I think Meili has a really good shot of winning it, and a big part of it is just because people of my vintage, a little bit younger, the 35s and unders, have
ones that need a haircut.
Yeah. Ones that need a haircut, yeah, have kind of recognized the party's sort of common theme of hugging the center in the last few elections, and I think there's a lot of people who have sort of seen that song and dance as they grew up in politics, and now they're old enough to kind of have some influence within the party. I don't know how much.
This is a legitimate debate, yeah. and I would not, under any circumstances, count Ryan Meili out. I think there's a very good chance he could win too. It's right now a guess, and I think it will be close enough that it's really hard to make that guess. Whoever wins, they have to do something that they haven't done in the last three NDP leadership races, and that's emerge unified generationally, philosophically, otherwise. That's the thing that's been really killing them and why they've had such trouble for 20 years now in terms of holding on to or reassuming government, even more so than touching on the rural base and everything else. They just, as a party, can't get their act together, and if they don't this time, it's going to be an easier path for the Sask Party in 2020.
The fun times keep on rolling here at the Saskatchewan Legislative Building. Thanks for joining us, folks.
Thank you.